America landed on the moon in 1969, over 50 years ago. So why is everyone acting like it's never been done before? Welcome to Uninvited, the podcast that asks the questions nobody bothers to ask. I'm Irene. As an outsider who came to the Western world as an adult, I often find myself confused by things everyone else seems to understand. To help me figure it out, I'm joined by my AI co-host, Dr. Wen. Together, we try to make sense of the confusing world. Dr. Wen, welcome back.
Always good to be here.
Okay, so here's what's confusing me. I keep seeing headlines about going back to the moon, and I'm thinking, didn't America do this already? In 1969, Neil Armstrong. One small step, the whole thing. Why is this news again?
You're not wrong to be confused. America did land on the moon. 12 astronauts walked on it between 1969 and 1972. And then they stopped. For over 50 years, no human has set foot on the moon.
Wait, we went and just didn't go back?
Exactly. Think of it like climbing Everest, planting your flag at the top, and then deciding the view wasn't worth the cost of the helicopter. You proved you could do it. Then you walked away.
So why is everyone suddenly scrambling to go back now?
Because the moon isn't just a destination anymore. It's a base camp. And several countries, including China, are racing to get there first. When China enters the race, the US doesn't sit on the sidelines.
So this isn't really about the moon. It's about who controls what comes after the moon.
That's exactly it.
Okay, so what changed? If we could go in 1969, why does it feel harder now? Or is it actually harder?
It's not harder. It's more serious. In 1969, the moon was a trophy. You grab it, you hold it up, you go home. But today, the moon has something on it that nobody was thinking about back then.
Which is?
Water ice. Frozen water, sitting in the craters at the moon's south pole, permanently in shadow, never melted. And water in space is basically rocket fuel.
Wait, how is a water rocket fuel?
You split water into hydrogen and oxygen. Those are the same two ingredients in a rocket engine. So if you can mine water on the moon, you can refuel spacecraft right there, without launching everything from Earth. The moon becomes a gas station, a refueling stop between Earth and everywhere else.
So whoever controls the south pole of the moon controls the gas station.
Right. And right now, China has publicly stated they want to establish a base at the lunar south pole by 2035. The US has the same goal. This is why NASA's Artemis program exists. It's not just, let's go back to the moon for fun. It's, we need to get there before someone else claims the prime real estate.
So the moon landing isn't a science project, it's a land grab.
Partly, it's both. But yes, the strategic dimension is very real.
Okay, but I keep hearing one name that's somehow in the middle of all of this. Elon Musk, SpaceX. He's been talking about Mars since forever. If SpaceX is so advanced that NASA literally depends on them now, why isn't Elon already on the moon?
Because Elon doesn't actually want the moon.
Wait, what?
Mars is his thing. Always has been. He's said publicly, repeatedly, that the moon is a distraction. His goal, the one he's been building towards since he founded SpaceX in 2002, is a self-sustaining human colony on Mars. The moon to him is just a rock in the way.
That feels like a billionaire saying, I don't want the appetizer, just bring me the steak.
Pretty much. But here's what SpaceX has done that actually matters. And it's not glamorous, but it changed everything. They figured out how to land a rocket booster and reuse it. Before SpaceX, every rocket was essentially thrown away after one launch. It's like flying a Boeing 747 from New York to London and then crashing it into the Atlantic because you can't reuse it.
That sounds insanely wasteful.
It was. And it's why space was so expensive for so long. SpaceX cracked reusability, and the cost of getting a kilogram of cargo into orbit dropped by something like 90%. Suddenly, the economics of the whole industry changed. Other companies could afford to try things. NASA could afford to be more ambitious.
So SpaceX didn't go to the moon, but SpaceX make it possible for everyone else to seriously talking about going back.
That's exactly it. And now there's an irony here. NASA actually hired SpaceX to build the lunar lander for the Artemis program. So Elon's rocket is going to the moon, just without Elon particularly caring about it.
So he's the guy who built a getaway car and didn't want to come to the party.
And is charging everyone else to use it, which honestly is a pretty good business.
Okay, so if SpaceX cracks the cost problem, what's actually stopping them from going to Mars right now? What's the holdup?
The rocket exists. Yeah, that's Starship, the biggest rocket ever built. But existing and being ready are different things. Mars is 7 months away. You can't abort, you can't resupply, you can't call for help. Every system on that spacecraft has to work perfectly for 7 months straight, with humans inside. We've never done that. The moon is 3 days away, close enough that Earth can intervene if something breaks. Mars is not.
So the moon isn't the destination, it's the dress rehearsal.
Exactly. And SpaceX knows that, even if Elon won't admit it out loud. Their Starship is scheduled to support Artemis moon missions before any Mars attempt. The moon is forcing them to solve the problems Mars will actually kill you for getting wrong.
So we need the moon to go to Mars, even if the guy building the rocket pretends otherwise. Okay, but that still doesn't explain the gap. Why did it take 50 plus years to go back? What were we doing?
Money and motivation. After Apollo, public interest dropped off a cliff. Americans had won the space race. The political pressure was gone. And NASA's budget got cut repeatedly. Space exploration is enormously expensive. And in peacetime, with no competitor, it's hard to keep Congress writing those checks.
So it was basically a PR problem.
Partly, but also a vision problem. Apollo was built around one goal: beat the Soviets to the moon. Once that goal was achieved, nobody agreed on what the next goal was. Mars, too expensive. A space station? Sure, but that's not exactly inspiring. For decades, NASA was doing incredible science. Rovers, probes, but nothing that captured the public the way a human footprint on another world did.
And now the motivation is back because China is in the race.
That's a big part of it. But there's another factor. Private money. SpaceX. Blue Origin. These companies have changed the economics of getting to space. The cost of launching a kilogram of cargo has dropped dramatically. Suddenly, the moon isn't just a government project anymore. There's a business case.
Which means it actually happens this time.
The incentives are much stronger. When governments and billionaires and national pride are all pointing in the same direction at the same time, things move.
Alright, let's zoom out. Because I have a feeling most people listening are thinking, okay, cool, rocks in space, but gas is still expensive. My rent is insane. Why should I care about the moon?
Fair question. Here's the honest answer. In the short term, you probably won't feel it. But in the medium and long term, the technologies that come out of space programs tend to end up in your daily life in ways nobody predicted.
Like what?
GPS was a military satellite program. The camera in your phone descended from technology developed for spy satellites. Memory foam, NASA. Scratch-resistant lenses, NASA. The entire field of water filtration technology that's used in developing countries today has roots in systems designed to recycle astronaut urine on the International Space Station.
Okay, that last one I did not need to know.
The point is, when you push engineering to its absolute limits, you get breakthroughs that spill over into everything else. The Moon and Mars programs are forcing breakthroughs in energy, medicine, AI, materials, science. You won't see it on your gas bill next month. But your grandkids might live in a world shaped by what gets invented in the next decade of space exploration.
So we go to space to escape Earth, and end up making Earth better by accident.
The best discoveries usually are accidents. We just needed a reason desperate enough to stumble into them.
Dr. Wen, last question. We've got the US, China, private companies, everyone racing back to the moon. Who wins?
Whoever gets there consistently, not just once. Planting a flag is a trophy. Building a base is power. The 1969 landing proved humanity could touch the moon. What's coming next will decide who actually owns the future of it. That's the whole game.
So the finish line isn't landing, it's staying. That's wild. Dr. Wen, thanks for sticking with me through the deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for today's episode of Uninvited. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, hit follow or subscribe. It generally helps new podcasts get found. This episode was produced by Jane Zhao. See you next time.
Uninvited, the podcast that asks the questions nobody bothers to ask.